Hello and welcome to the Beacon Way podcast. This is Ken O'Connick here, CRO and owner of Beacon Media Marketing. And I wanted to share with you an important subject that I find talking with business owners all the time in the space. And it's around how do you calculate a true ROI as a client or as a business owner around digital marketing. And I'm using our blog here as a resource for you. This is available and you can read through this in more depth than what I'm going through today. But I wanted to get on here and create this video so you have context to an ROI. And I'll tell you, I speak to business owners all the time and they are not on top of their numbers. And I'm not calling out you guys if you're not, but I can tell you if you don't know your numbers, you're leading a business blind. And knowing what a true ROI for your digital marketing is so important. And so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that. And the first part is just the vanity of ROI and how most people just basically use a very basic formula of money in, money out, how much I make, divide it by that. Here's my ROI. And that doesn't work. And that's why we want to kind of educate you guys and bring more value to you around how do you define ROI beyond the surface. And what traditionally people do is take their revenue minus their spend, divide it by spend, and you get your ROI. Now, at face value, that's accurate, but a really important thing that we do here at Beacon and we want you to take, clear advantage of is understand your attribution clarity, making sure that it's efficiency and has impact and this strategic alignment. So what we do is step one, establish baseline business metrics. So before you're running your campaigns, we capture all the clients and current numbers. You got to know where you're at, right? And then step two, we map out a marketing inputs to revenue outcomes. We create a fan out attribution model. So it's important to know that when you're calculating your ROI, there's so many other factors into it. Your conversion rate, lifetime of conversion, lifetime value, how is that divided over that? Your sales metrics of how they're coming in and how they're converting. And then to apply a generative engine style attribution. AI search tools don't answer questions with a single data point. They fan out the multiple related dimensions we use at the same principle for ROI. So first step, establish baseline business metrics. What we're going to want to do is you're wanting to average lead volume and quantity. So when you're looking at the average lead volume and quality, it's understanding where your leads are coming from and how well are you converting those leads. If you're a mental health or a behavioral health practice, you're getting leads in a lot of different ways. And a typical one is a referral. And if a large proportion of your leads are coming from referrals, your conversion rate is going to be higher, which is obviously quality, right? When you get into the digital aspect, that conversion is going to go down, but you need to be able to know what the lead is and the conversion from it individually, not as a whole. Because if you're looking at your marketing as a whole, it's going to change the overall success of the outcome. Cost per lead, obviously pretty simple. How much are you spending per lead? Sales cycle of length. Now, this is important depending on, the service that you're using, and it's important that you put metrics in place to help measure if there's certain things or products you're using that take a couple weeks versus a couple months to close. Knowing what those timeframes are and bringing that into the equation is really important. And then, CLV, customer lifetime value, should be an important metric. I know a lot of businesses, as I'm talking to owners, they don't always have that. So breaking down, again, going with that same model of a behavioral health or an addiction recovery center or a mental health therapy clinic is what is your total, sessions that you typically get, per month. How is the average sessions you typically get per new session? How many months is that over? So you can amortize the volume. All those things are really important. And then retention and churn rate, right? So how often, do those people come off? And do you have a churn or your retention rate? Once you have all of those things, then you can map the marketing inputs and revenue outcomes. So direct revenue, sales from ads, SEO, or campaigns. So this is stuff that's coming directly to you from your efforts. Assisted conversion, so leads nurtured by multiple touch points. There are so many amazing ways to keep track of, how many touch points you're touching someone. In most cases in digital marketing, it's not just one touch point. They hit your website, they convert, right? There's multiple touch points. They saw a short clip, they saw an ad, they searched something online and they read a blog on your website, then they convert. So it's really important to understand that. And then you looking at brand lift metrics. So organic growth tied to visibility. So how much view and engagement are you getting across your platforms? And as that is increasing, because what we're seeing here is right, as your reach increases, as the engagement with your brand increases, sales downline also increase in efficiency. So really valuable tool for you there. Then there's operational value, right? So reduced inefficiencies via automations or optimized workflows. There's so many awesome things out there in CRMs, in AI, that allow you to create more congruencies in your outreach, in your follow-up, in your appointment confirmations, that allow for all of those numbers to get better. Then you have to apply a generative engine style attribution, like I was talking about. So AI search tools don't answer questions with a single data point. They fan out on multiple related dimensions. We use that same principle for our ROI. So if a client asks, how much revenue did my SEO generate? We'll answer with direct conversion from SEO, secondary conversions from SEO, downstream referrals from MCO, and being able to report on all of those things, because it's not just a direct apples to apples comparison. And I have conversations with owners all the time, and this is a big, big gap for where a lot of people are versus where they need to be. So how should we calculate a true ROI in this sense, right? So paid ads case study. So if we ad spend $25,000 a quarter, leads generated were 400. Our sales conversion on those leads were 15. Average sale of 5,000. That means the direct ROI is a $300,000 in revenue. It's 11x ROI. That's awesome. But there's more to it than that, right? So then there's the sales cycle was shortened by 20%. So that increases velocity of cash flow, obviously, right? Where you're paying probably less salary. There's less time you had to pay and distribute that cost over metrics that we're using in the sales process. Automation reduced admin hours, obviously up there, and then upsell opportunities for new clients. If those sales staff now have more time, can they go and retain and nurture current people versus just continue to have to close deals? Then the SEO content case study, right? So a monthly content investment, $7,500 a month, leads from that, $150, close rate 12%, annual revenue 1.08 million. The but factor in this is referral traffic. So organic PR lift of 120,000, brand authority, shortened sales conversions, 15% faster deals, and evergreen content compounded traffic value by over 500,000 long-term pipeline. And it's because all of that additional education content on your website is putting more thoughtful information around you. One of the big things that you want to be in your business on your line is a thought leader. And your thought leader is developed by these algorithms, seeing how much educational content that you're putting out there, how many people are hitting that content and engaging in that content, staying on that content, and converting in that content. So the true ROI is a 20x over 18 months, right? It wasn't 11x in that 1 month because of all those other additional factors, which really allows you to have a diverse, robust ROI that allows you to be able to plan out a digital marketing campaign so much stronger. So let's talk about attribution challenges and how we solve them. So multi-touch journeys. No client's buyer journey is linear. A single customer might see a social ad, click on a blog, attend a webinar, sign up for a sales call or a discovery call. There's so many different, factors, and they might have done a couple of those things. Then linear attribution equals, equal weighting. Time decay attribution, more weight near conversions. Beacon hybrid model, custom weighting for the client's sales dynamic. So data silos, this is so important. Clients often use disconnect systems, CRMs, ad managers, analytics without unfiltered reporting or ROI dashboard integration. We suffered from this at Beacon for many years until I was able to get into the marketing and see how the marketing and the sales were communicating together and getting a much more efficient tool. It led to Beacon being able to generate the same amount of new deals on 60% less of a marketing budget, which is awesome. So HubSpot and Salesforce data, Google Analytics, Ads Manager, call tracking, POS, EMR systems. These are all the things that help you get those, data together, but they sometimes live in silos. You're not looking at it in a holistic fashion. This creates single source of truth, the generative engine optimization in ROI reporting with a geo matters for ROI. So main query, what's my ROI? Branching answers are direct revenue impact, efficiency savings, pipeline growth, brand authority lift. By reporting this way, the clients understand ROI like an AI would explain it: holistic, multi layered, and context aware. Three things to know about ROI beyond revenue: customer lifetime value expansion. ROI grows not just from an acquisition, from a retention of a $2,000 a month client kept for 3 years has a 36x higher value than a single sale. Also, if you had a client that was paying that for 3 years, and so they're obviously happy, how much are they referring? I mean, it's the ROI gets so much more expansive than the basic numbers that we're talking about here. Market positioning and brand equity, harder quantify but critical. We track proxy metrics like share search, brand mentions, referral volume. Opportunity cost avoidance. If marketing prevents wasted sales, team hours chasing low quality leads, the measurable ROI gain. Beacon suffered at this for many years. So I have to go into a story of this. I'm the sales guy. I do most of the sales meetings, right? So Beacon was doing an amazing job at getting leads, right? We were getting record-breaking leads, but a lot of our leads were on this vast scale of business owners, from small startup businesses, 1 employee, 2 employees, to multi, 100 employee corporations. And it is a vast client when you're looking at all those different things. Those conversations require different knowledge. They also require different components of the sales process. And there's also different qualities of people along that way. So understanding what that is and how much time you're spending into it. What we really identified is any employee that less than 10 employees really isn't a good fit for us. And so we've now continued to derank and really remove anything that would be leading to us getting 10 people in. The amount of quality of information and support we are bringing to so many less leads is increasing in our overall conversions and quality of clients. The return on revenue on that is incredibly hard to calculate, but holy moly, is it beneficial, right? Now we're able to focus more on client retention. We're able to focus more on, client referral, client review. All of those things are generating more, ROI in different ways that maybe not everyone's taking into complete consideration. So common client questions about ROI. What's the longest before ROI shows up? Paid ads, pretty immediate, 90 days. SEO, 6 to 12 months, and that's compounding. How do you prove ROI from brand campaigns? By trying to share the search and lift in organic traffic and revenue patterns, right? So big consideration here is you're typically looking at more of a branding campaign that's just, looking at overall reach, views, engagement, versus a conversion campaign, right? Which is, new client, new customer, product sold. What's the difference between CPA and ROI, right? So CPA is cost to acquire a lead. Customer ROI is a business value created from the acquisition. So cost to acquire is just, a metric of designing how much did I have to pay to get that person, versus an ROI is how much did I earn on that person or that month, however you're breaking it down. ROI transparency and accountability. We don't cherry pick numbers at all. Clients see the raw data and contextual insights. Cost per lead, close rate, net revenue tied to the campaign, efficiency savings. Every quarterly report isn't just a spreadsheet. It's a narrative of business growth built to empower leaders and decisions. It's really making sure the numbers are no fluff and you're getting the really important data from this. That's the other cool thing that you gain in what you're investing in digital marketing is data. A lot of people make decisions based on what they think, what they feel, but data is the best thing to have. And the more data you can have, the more you can check your bias, and it's going to help you make better decisions to grow your business. So in ROI, different marketing channels. Paid ads media. So ROIs in paid ads is immediately but volatile. This is absolutely true. So small adjustments in targeting, bending, and creative can swing costs per acquisition by 40%. Our role is to test and optimize continuously so ROI stabilization instead of sprinkling and crashing. The trends of what people like, the market is always changing. And so the algorithms and the large businesses that are trying to vie for our attention are always changing how it is serving up information on those platforms to people. So us as an agency, you as a business owner, has to know how to consistently A/B test and look at the data of what you're doing and then adjust what you're doing to make sure you're constantly getting the best results. The day and age where you have this ad and it runs over and over and over again and it always works is a day of the past. Don't get me wrong, you see those old commercials. Like I always think of like the Cadbury eggs or the Red Bull commercials that are like super old. Now, obviously, those people spend more money than that and recycle content, but you cannot do it in that way this day and age with how much competition that's going out there and expect you guys are going to get the same results. You have to constantly mix it up, look at your numbers and adjust it from there. SEO and content. ROI here compounds. And so, right, a blog you put today, content you adjust your website today can bring new potential people in months, years from now. Social media, historically hard to tie directly to ROI, but modern attribution allows to connect to assisted conversion, organic reach, lift, and have employee advocacy back to the revenue. Social is often an ROI quiet multiplier. So what that says, and it's really, really important for you to know, is two things. One, if you are running a meta ads and you have a really good engaged social media, your paid ads on Meta will perform better. Here's why. Because people see a sponsored ad, what do? They click through and see that social, and then they typically click to the landing page, website, wherever they sent them. But if you click to that meta ad and there's no engaged social, chances of them hitting a website or landing page go down, right? So paid ad success is directly correlated to engaged social brands. So the better your social brand, the better your paid ads perform. Other part about social media that is an ROI is the insurance. And sorry for going down a rabbit hole, but if you don't have a good engaged social media and someone puts something negative on your social media, you have no loyal fan base. You have no other engagement, content, views that can push those things down or advocate for a different perspective. It's just that glaring bad review or that really upset Karen, if you will, sorry to all the Karens, that read it and then it just exists there forever. And so having something in a place there will absolutely make a change in the view of your brand as negative things come through. Because if you're any business owner like us, like you can't make everyone happy. The bigger you get, the more people you're up against, and it's important to have those things in place to protect your business. Email and automation. So ROI comes not from flashy metrics, but from retention, churn reduction, nurturing, slow burn, prospects into revenue. Automated nurture campaigns can increase CLV, but by double digits. So, right. So if you are consistently educating your clients with new and additional information, you tend to be more top of mind on your clients' radar, and then it will allow for more education, which allows the sales process or the conversion process of client growth to also increase. ROI is a strategic alignment tool. So ROI isn't just reviewing a metric, it's planning compass by breaking ROI into channel level outcomes we guide. Budget allocation, shifting dollars where ROI is stronger, product mix strategies. If one service line ROI outpaces others, scale it. Market expansion, ROI benchmarks, show them the new region and profitable enough to grow into. Advanced ROI metrics we track, pipeline velocity ROI, engagement depth ROI, cross-channel ROI index, and efficiency ROI. All of those things are the depth, right, of both what you're getting right now and long-term lag. Pitfalls in ROI, attribution bias, giving all credit to the last click or where that, where it's directly reported on is just a naive way to look at it. A lot of agencies take credit for that. We do not do that. Ignoring CLV. So counting the first transaction as ignoring the next 12 months. So understanding what you get from a client, if it's multiple purchases, restaurants do a really good job at this, right? They understand that their client is a long haul. So if you find the restaurant, that meal you like, and you continue to come back over and over and over again, a new customer can be far that one specific thing. A lot of businesses just kind of get what's right in front of them. They're the prisoner of the moment, and they forget that their customer can be an ongoing thing. And so focusing on that past that will help you. Cherry picking data, showing only the best performing campaigns instead of a full portfolio. This is important too. It's exciting and you need to focus on the areas that you're winning, but the areas you're losing or not performing, what isn't going right there? And let's leverage that. Let's continue to A/B test those things so you can get more and more refined data for better and better outcomes. I think of it all the time. We have a client, when they came to us, they were getting about a 20 to 30% conversion on their paid ads, which is a great number to think, right? You get 100 leads, 20 or 30 of those are turning to new patients. Well, we put in a really strong A/B testing campaign for them, well above what they were ever expecting. And over a period of 4 to 6 months, their conversion drove all the way up to 65%. The only thing that changed was the additional ad campaigns that we were A/B testing. It's incredible. So ROI and generative AI futures. So the rise of generative AI is reshaping how prospects research purchases. Search results are no longer 10 blue links, but AI generated expansions pulling from multiple sources. The evolution making ROI reporting even more critical because ROI proof points must be structured in an AI friendly format. Case studies and success stories are becoming the citations AI and engine surface. ROI data is the difference in the turn of generic, how ROI making marketing works, into Beacon proves marketing ROI at a 14x scale. ROI is a cultural value at Beacon. It 100% is speaking in the terms of your business growth, what you want to be and what that will do for you is so important. The why behind it as well. And then ready to use ROI as a growth compass. So if you guys want to learn more or you have any questions about anything that you've learned from this depth of ROI, please don't hesitate to reach out. Message us here on any social channel that you're reading it. Call us or find us on LinkedIn. Any place that you can see us, we want you to reach out. We want to bring as much value to this AI driven world that we live in and make sure we keep the human component alive. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll see you in the next one. You have been listening to the Beacon Way podcast. Make sure to join us for new episodes every week. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Beacon Way on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.